Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the premiere of the R Smashbros AMA, brought to you by The Daily Dot. I, of course, am your host, Ian Double John Barker, as Jared so affectionately calls me, back again with the host of our last segment, still handsome as ever, Jared. Jared, how are you doing? Has anything changed in your life over the past 10 minutes?
I feel more fulfilled. That's about it.
Did I do that?
No.
Oh, that's too bad.
No.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about us as hosts. We're here to talk about our very special guest. We're so excited to have him on the show. And, of course, to ask the questions that you guys have been asking on Reddit all week long. With us is Jeffrey Axe Williamson. Axe, how are you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
That's, I can't complain. I am sitting here talking to one of my favorite Smash players. And so naturally... but don't think we're going to go easy on you. But then again, I didn't ask you questions. If I was going to ask you a question, I'd say, do you want to get a burger?
I'm down if you're buying.
A man after my own heart. Well, as we talked about a little bit earlier, the format here is that we put up a guest on Monday. The R Smash Brothers mods very courteously put up a thread, and you guys ask your questions. You vote on your favorite ones. And on Wednesday, Thursday, it sort of fluctuates based on our players' availability. We ask the players the questions live on Twitch. If you're in the chat, welcome. And I think it's no time like the present to get started. So, Axe, going to hit you with our first question if you are ready, sir.
I am ready. Give it to me.
So, I believe this is actually the number one question in the subreddit. We're going to come out firing was from Third Human. Third Human asks, which God/Big Six player do you think you have the best chance of beating at any given event?
The Big Six. Okay, so... basically, there's Mango, Armada, PPMD, Mewtwo, Hungrybox, and Leffen as of now, which is considered like the Big Six, all playing unique characters. For me, the characters that I've fought the most and I'm most comfortable fighting against is Falco and Marth as well. Like, I think I'm really good against those two characters. So PPMD is the one who's really good at those characters, which comes to mind. And he kind of has a style that I feel like I'd be really good against. Then again, he's an amazing player, so it's going to be hard regardless versus any of them. But I've always thought I'd do well versus him. He's the type of player that doesn't appear too often, though, so I don't know. They're all like really difficult in their own way. In fact, it would probably be easier to say which ones I wouldn't do as well against.
Go if you feel free to answer that. The floor is yours, sir.
Well, number one, Armada. That dude is ridiculous. Mostly because he likes to go Peach versus is my worst matchup, and he's the best Peach, and he's just amazing. It's really hard to get past him when he decides to play defensive and like wall me out. It's really hard for me to get around that kind of thing. So he's the one player I think I have the most trouble with. Him and Mewtwo another one. I'm sure a lot of people have seen our sets recently. He's really good, and he plays Sheik, which is Pikachu's probably his hardest matchup. So he's another one. But I feel pretty comfortable versus the rest of them. But, I mean, regardless, I'm going to try my best to improve and try to take them all down if I can.
Yeah, and I've seen those moments where Armada decides to go defensive, starts to do the hover, and always seems to pull the Stitch face at the perfect moment. As somebody who's only played in friends' basements for quite some time, I do not know how you deal with that playstyle, but more power to you.
I don't either, but I'm trying.
you get there. Coming at you with our next question, a hamster... Not a hamster, a hamster, writes, what are your plans to make the final push towards winning a major? You're perennially top 8, but grand finals seem just out of reach for all of the largest tournaments.
It's getting real in here, isn't it?
It really is.
Wow.
It's real. All right. So I've been like right under the top 5 or 6 for quite a while now. And I think a big part of it is me not putting enough time into my main character. When I play, a lot of people are telling me like, oh, I should be playing Falco because that's my next best character. Pikachu is usually considered a mid-tier and not as good as the other characters. But I actually spend maybe like most of my time in Falco and friendlies and practicing just because he's fun. Maybe like probably like 70% of my time goes into Falco itself. And I do that because it's fun. Like Melee is a fun game, like the funnest game I've ever played. And Falco has so much possibilities and crazy stuff you can do. But I kind of thought, like, why don't I just take that 70% or at least like 50% of it and put it into Pikachu instead when I could be developing my main character? Because I do think that my Pikachu has more potential than my Falco does. because I've spent so much time into Falco, and it just when it's playing really well, it's pretty much on par with Pikachu. But I guess I should just put that time into Pikachu. So that's what I'm doing. I'm training my Pikachu a lot more in friendlies, and just being like more stern about it. And that's pretty much what I'm doing to prepare, and just plain practicing more, because practice makes perfect, or at least as perfect as we can get.
It's actually interesting to hear you mention that this game is still fun for you. I mean, I will be honest, as an avid gamer myself, I spend about I don't know, maybe about 80 hours on something over the course of a few weeks, and I am begging for something else. Do you still have fun with Melee?
The craziest thing about this game is there's endless possibilities. I mean, I was just playing yesterday, and I found out like a new edge stall technique thing with Pikachu that I can do, and there's so much. Like, just the mechanics of this game make it so you can always find out new things and do new things, and it keeps the game fresh. Not only that, but I love playing pretty much all the characters in the game. There's so many characters, and it's hard to sit down and only play one character to me for so long. That's why it's so hard for me to put so much time into Pikachu, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to sit down and do some like real training and not just have fun all the time. Well, of course I need my fun time, because it's a video game. Like, it's just fun. But yeah, I do still have fun with the game. I think it's the best, and it's the one game I can go to where I always have fun regardless of what I'm doing, because there's always something new.
Well, it's interesting that you brought up the idea of time distribution between Falco and Pikachu, because our next question, coming at you from Like Six Hobos, asks, we've got some good names coming up for you. Says, you've said before that you've practiced your Falco far more than your Pikachu, but your Pikachu still gets better results. Do you feel that Pikachu is just the character for you, or is it something else?
Pretty much what you said. I think he's just the character for me. I think that it's so weird, because Pikachu is a character I started out with, and as I learned about tournaments and techniques, started dabbling in other characters, and I started playing them more just because they're fun. But it's a weird thing where no matter how much I collect, Pikachu has always done the best for me, even if I don't play him much. It's so weird. It's like a natural thing. Like, natural feel for some characters, like I don't know, Armada has like a natural thing for Peach and Hungry Box with Jigglypuff, and I think my character is just Pikachu, regardless of how good my other characters get. So I think that I could have a lot of mileage if I just put more time into them. So that's what I'm doing.
So then the obvious follow-up question to that is, what is it about Pikachu that speaks to your playstyle? He's
fast. One of the fastest characters in the game overall, just with aerial speed and dash speed and everything like that. And he's, there's Fox, who does move the fastest in the game. But I always have problems with him because he seems so fragile to me. Like, if I make one mistake, I just die. It's the same with Falco. Like, they're both fast characters. With Pikachu, it's more that although he doesn't have as many options for approaching and things like that, I feel way more safe with him, in that if I make a mistake, it's okay. I just get hit like once or twice. Whereas with Fox or Falco, I'm dead. Mm-hmm. So I just feel a lot more room for error. And when you're on a big stage in front of thousands of people and things like that, you tend to get nervous. And if I get nervous with one of the spacies, I just die. And even to this day, even after 9 years of competing, I still have the tournament nerves. It's really hard to get over that. So just being with Pikachu and able to have like at least a little margin for error, that helps a lot. And I think that's a major factor in it.
Now, my personal question, real briefly, I believe Jared wanted to chime in as well, is those tournament nerves you spoke of, is that something that you impose upon yourself, or do you find yourself at a point in your career where other people expect you to succeed?
Both, actually. It's with the second thing you mentioned, it's a hard thing where you have this certain placement, or a place where people expect you to beat this person, expect you to do so well. Not only that, but I want to represent the state of Arizona. Like, I want to do really good for them to represent. And it's just a lot of pressure. Like, it's hard knowing a lot of people are like really want you to win and are counting on you and stuff. So that alone is a lot of pressure. At the same time, I enjoy it. It's just cool, like having fans and and people that support you. So shout out to all the fans in the chat, for all you guys watching. It's also with just playing against somebody else who is a match for you and having that strong urge to beat them. That alone gets you really nervous. Like just competing can get you nervous. And I've learned how to kind of lower that level of nerves, but it's still there. I don't think it'll ever go away, but I've gotten pretty good with learning how to deal with it. It's something you kind of have to learn to deal with and just do your best under pressure.
We've talked about X. You're playing Pikachu and Falco and learning one or the other, or spending more time with one or the other. As fighting games get bigger, it's a common thing that the competition at the top gets more heated, and players feel pressure to diversify their characters and to play more characters. Do you feel that pressure, or are you still comfortable just playing one character that works best for you, just playing Pikachu, for example, if he's your guy?
Well, I admit sometimes I have off days with Pikachu. Like sometimes I'll just be playing and I'm like, okay, I can't do anything that I've practiced with Pikachu. It's all going downhill and I'm getting beat and stuff. And that's when it is good to have other characters that you can rely on. But yeah, I mean, it's still really nerve-wracking playing against the other top players. Like it's just plain difficult, especially when you're not having a good day with your main character. What I am looking to do though is to get my main character Pikachu so good that even if I am off, I can still win. I think that's something that Armada's done that he showed us, because I feel like when Armada's amazing, he can't be touched. Same with Mango, actually. They both have that attribute. But even when they're not playing well, actually, I'd say this more to Armada, not Mango, because he can be a buster sometimes. I'm sorry, Mango. Love you, dude. But Armada, even when he's not playing well, he can still win. And it's pretty incredible. It's about having your B game as good as it can possibly be. And if you're on your A game, awesome. Like, you're going to win. But it's good to have a great B game if you can, too.
That makes a lot of sense. Well, we've got a lot of questions sort of in a similar vein, but I think they all speak to the curiosity of your career, the fact that you play a low-tier character. And coming up next from Penny Pinball is what would happen if you invested that Falco time that you spoke of earlier into your Pikachu? How far can you take that character? And this is something I've actually wondered a lot myself. What is the ceiling for Pikachu, at least in your hands?
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. But Falco's such a fun character, it's hard to stop playing him. And I don't think I'm going to stop playing Falco. It's just I'm going to be playing him a lot less. Like I need to if I want to challenge the top 6 right now. So what would happen? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. I do know that there's a lot of things about Pikachu that I don't even do, or that I haven't even been able to do or tap into, that I can even watch other Pikachu players and they'll do something. I'm like, wow, like why don't I do that? Like there's actually a lot of potential for this character itself. So I guess we'll find out, because that's what I'm going to be doing, and hopefully it'll be enough to rise to the top.
On this topic, I'm actually curious, for a more or less experienced viewers, can you maybe for a moment explain what it is that makes Pikachu supposedly a mid-tier character? And more importantly, what have you done to sort of counteract that? What have you specifically, Jeffrey Axe Williamson, done to take Pikachu to another level?
Okay, well, Pikachu is a character that his main weakness is that he doesn't have anything directly in front of him to approach with. You'll see like the Spaceys, for example, they have a really good short hop neutral air to approach with. Just something to like stick out in front of them to go in front. And Marth has insane range. Sheik has her tilts and her grab, and Peach just has hitboxes everywhere. I can't even explain how crazy that character is. But as far as Pikachu goes, it can be kind of hard to approach. He has a neutral air that's the hitbox of his neutral air is as big as his body. So someone, if I do a neutral air, someone could just grab it or like forward tilt it. He doesn't have much range in front of him, and that's his main weakness. But his strengths are that he's pretty much the quick killer of the game. He has the tail spikes, which can kill someone at pretty much any percent. It's just like a Fox Shine spike, if you will. And he has the strongest up smash in the game, charged or uncharged. It's a rumor whether it's like weaker than Fox's when fully charged, but it's just the plain strongest in the game. And he's fast. So even though he lacks, if you will, like really good approaching options like the characters above him have, he does have the quick killing power and the ability with the speed to just control the stage and just control characters' movements. one thing that's very important is being able to do fake approaches, is what I call them, where you pretty much act like you're approaching somebody, but you really don't, or at least delay the timing or do it quicker than what they think they will. And you pretty much cause them to move in a way or swing in a way that lets you counterattack in very micro situations. So that's one thing that you can do with Pikachu since he's so quick. And I think those are probably his biggest strengths. That and his recovery. He has an amazing up B that can just go like as far as wherever. He has one of the best recoveries in the game, which is fantastic.
Yeah, quick attack will cover a lot of distance as long as you deploy it correctly. Speaking of Pikachu questions, obviously a popular one. We come to Esam, fellow Pikachu player. Yeah, I'm sure you know him well. And he asks, will we ever team at a Melee Major again? Several question marks and exclamation points. Also, it's a two-part question. Also, when will we win the same major? It is destined for Pikachu.
Our hardest question yet, I think. This is a tough one.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, what's up, Esam? Well, yes, I'm down, but I would love to do double Pikachu. But the problem is that we do not play Pikachu in our respective games. Like in Melee, he made Samus, and in Brawl, I mean Toon Link, and in Smash 4, I mean Link. I just love the characters; they're fun. They throw stuff.
A lot of stuff.
But Pikachu in those games are really difficult for me. I don't know. It's a different kind of gameplay that you need to play him well. I have no idea how Esam does it. He's freaking amazing. Like his play at Super Smash Con was just spectacular. But I just can't do that with Pikachu in that game. I think it's the way that the things I can do in Melee just doesn't transfer over. I don't know. What
are those? Can you maybe articulate a little those different? I mean, even as a diehard Smash fan, I'm curious to hear what the difference is between the two.
Well, in Melee, his strengths are things that he can do is I have a lot of mileage off of the way you can wave dash and dash dance and just zone people out, moving in and out of the range, making them swing, kind of like I was talking about earlier. And in Smash 4 or Brawl, though, it's more like Pikachu has really good zoning options where he can do like short hop forward air and just put a hitbox in front of him, or his Thunder Jolts are good, short hop auto cancel down airs, and just the things that you have to do in that game is just it's more like playing I don't know how to explain it. It's more like playing an electric Sheik in Melee, but in Smash 4, where you can zone out the characters with good tilts and like short hop forward airs and stuff like that. It's a really big zoning thing that you can do with Pikachu in those games, where it's completely different in Melee. In Melee, it's all about like the speed and out of the range and things like that. It's kind of hard to explain, but it's just feels like a whole different character to me.
I imagine it's very hard to explain to those of us with less technical knowledge than yourself.
We should bring in the 64 version of Pikachu comparison. He's pretty good, I've heard.
Yeah, and I heard Kirby's really good at Melee.
Mm-hmm.
That's also not
he's pretty good. He's all right. Kirby side people, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Is there anyone, not to my knowledge, that plays Kirby at a decent level?
Well, historically, there's crazy Kirby Kid.
Yeah, sure. There was one. Yeah,
he was awesome. There's what are the Kirbys I'm forgetting?
I don't think he plays Kirby now, though.
There's someone who goes by Triple R, who's an awesome Kirby. He's another one. Mm-hmm. I think there's like a couple handful, but it's hard to get far with Kirby.
It's one of my favorite things in any game, really, but Smash especially. I'm a big fan of Ripple because he plays DDD. And nobody plays DDD, obviously, different, whole different kettle of fish. But I just and it's I think that Kirby Kazi, and it's certainly due to the fact that you can't patch them, and that's actually something that Hungrybox, friend of the show, has talked about before, and that's the fact that when you got your NTSC disc in Melee, I've heard several pros talk about how you sort of just had to deal with whatever you were given. And it's incredible how far that has pushed you guys to just learn and adapt. I mean, it's even probably more credible that you, Axe, after playing Pikachu for so long, are still able to find new tricks.
Or just move on to Sheik, like Kazi did.
Or you could just move on to Sheik.
Just play Sheik instead.
Oh, my Sheik is terrible. I can't do that kind of thing. I think that's why my Pikachu in Smash 4 and Brawl, they suck. I don't have like a Sheik-like zoning thing. It's hard. A character's hard to play at high levels. Yeah, but Kirby, I don't know, the poor guy. He definitely needs a lot more tools.
Poor
shout out
pink
to Project
bastard. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, we've talked an awful lot about your character. Let's talk a little bit about the man behind the yellow mouse. Coming at you, Noah F. Hewitt. I apologize if I mispronounce anybody's names. I will do the best I can. Hey, Axe, what was the reason you chose to become so good with Pikachu? Was it just because you liked Pikachu already from Pokemon on TV, or because you recognized that the character had potential and decided to play her? Also, what is your Pikachu color tier list? That one I'm especially interested in.
All right, there's a couple answers to that. First, Pikachu's male. You can tell from his tail, so he's a guy.
Is that a thing? Like, is that like?
It is a thing, yeah. If you see the tails of Pokemon, it's like of the Pikachu's. If it's like a square tail at the end, it's a male, and if it has like a sort of divot inside, I think it's supposed to resemble a heart-like tail. It's a female. It's a Pokemon thing.
This is literally the most I have ever learned on a live broadcast that we've done. This has been a treat.
And the most important things you've learned.
And the most important.
Yeah, by far. Pokemon gender.
But
that
go
is
ahead.
probably the most important thing about being a top player is you have to know the difference between the male and females.
Obvious.
That's how you get there, yeah.
Yeah, that's how you make. That's half the battle, I've heard.
Yeah.
But, why I chose to become a Pikachu player is because, it started back in Smash 64 when I played casually. I was like, oh my gosh, I love Pokemon. Pikachu's in this? Yes. So I chose Pikachu, because I loved Pokemon as a kid. I woke up at like 6 a.m. to watch it every day before school. But
you were an OG fan too. Back in N64 days, that's when Ash Ketchum could barely catch a Zubat. I mean, that
exactly. Like I was watching it first gen. I was into it. I don't really watch it anymore now, and I like Pokemon, but I'm not like super crazy about it like I used to be. But I played Pikachu in 64, and then after a while, I unlocked Ness. It was the last character I unlocked, and I was like, okay, Ness is the best character. I'm gonna play Ness now. So I was on Ness main with a Pikachu secondary. When Melee came out, I tried out Ness. I was like, I don't like him because he sucks. His down air was too slow. That was my reasoning. So I tried Pikachu, and I was like, Pikachu's still pretty fun. I still like him. He's fast. I like his new down smash. It's like a flower thing. I think he's still cool. So I just played Pikachu as a casual player. And about 5 years later, when I found out about the competitive scene, about tournaments and things like that, I was like, whoa, this is awesome. I still played Pikachu. And I found out about wave dashing, out canceling, and tournaments and all that sort of stuff. And I practiced everything with Pikachu. And it just so happened that it was just my best character. I also played other characters too, just for fun, and to see if they can be better. But I always had the best results with Pikachu. I don't know what it was about the character, but I don't know. I just always did the best with him, so I just kind of stuck with him. It actually wasn't really a choice. I didn't have a choice because if I wanted to win tournaments, I had to use Pikachu because
spent 5 years on the character. I mean, at that point, you'd invested so much time.
Sort of. I mean, I played casually just for fun. With my brothers and sisters, or brother and sister, I have one of each, and just like a couple of friends here or there. I didn't play it like super 100% like I do now. It was just a game that I played, but I played it more seriously once I learned about tournaments. And Pikachu was just always did the best with him, even though I didn't play him as much when I was learning advanced text and stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, I guess you could say it wasn't a choice. It was just he chose me, if you will.
That's beautiful. I'm going to quote you on that. Oh, and the real meaty part of this question, of course. Let's hear your Pikachu color tier list.
Okay. First is blue, the party hat, or I actually call it the wizard hat. But everyone else calls it a party hat. I say it's a wizard hat. He works magic.
Obviously. In your hands, baby.
But that's definitely like his best costume by far, in my opinion.
There's some Mickey Mouse going on there, Mickey Mouse wizard stuff.
Yeah, I was thinking, have you ever seen Fantasia?
Yeah.
Yeah, Mickey Mouse had the blue wizard hat. That's what it makes me think of.
It's going way back.
Way back.
Yeah, but in my opinion, blue is the best. After that, the red hat Pikachu and the Pikachu with no hat at all, just regular Pikachu, I put them both at kind of the same. I think I like the red one more. And the one that I absolutely do not like is green. I do not like it at all. Like, I think the fedora is cool, or whatever that green cowboy hat thing is. But the fact that Pikachu literally turns green, like he turns green like he's puking or something, and I'm like, why is Pikachu literally green?
Well, and with the red hat, he turns like a little bit red, but he's already like yellow, so he just sort of turns a darker shade of yellow. But I noticed that too. When he puts on the green hat, it's like, is he sick? Like,
yeah, so I just I can't stand that green tint, so that's why I put the green one like way down there. But yeah, the red, when he turns like slightly red, he, like you said, he's still like yellow and orange kind of, so it kind of blends in. But the green's just, there's my color tier list. But blue is the 100% best.
Absolutely. Fun anecdote about Ian.
We'll judge that.
I suppose you will.
Does he play green Pikachu?
I do not play green Pikachu, but I actually played, what did I play? I played Link quite a bit in the N64 version. He was my favorite because he could throw bombs.
Link dap there.
Yeah, and he had the dare that just puts the sword down and you could just bounce on top. That was my favorite. But I remember hearing a rumor on the internet when I was over at my friend's house that if you beat Pikachu's break the targets
you
like
unlock
100 times.
Shenlong, is that the thing?
What's that?
Shenlong.
No. This one was if you beat his break the targets 100 times, you would unlock Raichu. And so we literally spent an entire afternoon beating Pikachu's break the targets.
Was it worth it?
It was absolutely not.
I feel you on that. I definitely heard the rumor of unlocking Sonic and Tails in Melee.
Oh my god,
and I forgot what the requirements were. It's something like beat adventure mode on very hard with one stock, no continues or anything, which I did multiple times. Even though it's really hard, it's actually way harder even now.
Yeah, and it was always one of those things that would take you so much time that after you did it and figured out that it was a complete lie, you were like, why did I just spend an entire afternoon doing that?
I thought you could unlock Fox's dad in Star Fox.
Are you serious?
That was a rumor too. I think EGM did like a April Fool's thing. You can unlock. I think it's James McLeod. His dad's name is. Like
I heard that you could unlock Wolf. You're talking about Star Fox 64, I assume.
Of course. If I say Star Fox, we're assuming 64, of course.
Nobody played the SNES. Yeah, I heard that you could unlock Wolf.
James McLeod for the next Melee version, by the way, the new DLC actually. James McLeod.
But the thing about Melee is that there's 2 empty slots. Like it just makes sense for the characters.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why else would those slots be there?
They're probably still there. They're still hidden today.
They're still hidden.
Yeah.
I don't know why they're there.
That's the game's hidden depth. There's more characters to be found. Wow. Melee is just so deep.
That's what they're going to do. As soon as 20XX hits, they're going to unlock the 2 mystery characters and just blow the meta apart. That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're not here to talk about our wild speculation. We're here to talk about viewers' questions, and of course, we have more. This one, I actually really enjoyed this name. If I could talk about it for a second, it's My Post Has, and when you view it on Reddit, it says My Post Has like 11 points, and I thought that was really clever.
That's great.
You find like sort of the peak of username creativity on Reddit, I have learned. But anyway, he asks, where did you come up with the name Axe?
It's a funny story. It's actually because, man, okay, where do I start? This goes way back in like 1970. I'm just kidding, no, because that's not back. But so it started at my first tournament, my first Arizona tournament. I was with my friend Brian, and we were going to an Arizona tournament called AZ1. Shout out to everyone who was there. Shout out to Taj for winning that tournament. Taj is the best person ever, by the way.
Daniel Taj? That's not a funny joke. Just
close enough.
Thanks.
Close enough.
Nice.
Yeah. So we were trying to think of like gamer tag, something cool to be called. We're like, we have to be called something. Like, come up with something cool. So at first we came up with Shock and Shine. So I was this close to being called Shock because I played Pikachu.
That's awesome.
Could have been cool, yeah.
Really
could have done
cool.
that. And he was gonna be Shine because he plays Fox. But we were just like, people might already have names like those. So we're not sure if we should use them. Like, I don't know. There could be another Pikachu player. The Shock makes sense. But we're going to do something else. Couldn't really think of anything, though. So we were just like, maybe we should do just Shock and Shine. But it was early in the morning. We were getting ready to go to the tournament. And, we were both spraying on our deodorants at the same time. And and I was using Axe, and he was using Tag.
As you do, by the way. As you do.
So we were just like, okay, you know what? This is it. We're being axe and tag, and that's how it became a thing. Right?
At least it wasn't using like secret
and
ultra
our team name was the BO Busters.
Wow, a great name.
So that was the thing. Since from then on, I became axe, and what we were gonna do, but I felt too bad about doing it. We wanted to take our cans of axe and tag, and whenever we beat people in teams, we were gonna like spray them down. But I felt too bad. Like I couldn't spray anyone with axe, so we didn't do it.
The sponsorship writes itself. Like, why aren't you on this?
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. Like, Temple Storm needs to talk to Axe. Like, we need to make this happen.
God.
Boy, the chat loves that story, and they booed you for your joke, by the way, Ian. You actually got literally booed in the chat
as I deserved
for making that joke. Just
I thought it was awesome. Ian, don't worry.
A great series there. Ian's joke into the Axe story. That's like that's the highlight of the show.
I was just trying to make you look.
Yeah, we could finish right now. We'd be done, honestly. But let's continue. Let's keep it rolling. You know.
So you said you didn't get to spray anybody. That's
no, I never had the heart to, although I always wanted to, but never did.
You're such a nice guy. I can't picture you standing up at a tournament and being like, "Taste my deodorant, bitch!" Like
right in the face too, just like spray in the face with axe. Like, oh my god,
that's the dream. But then I pictured myself like, what if I was playing this guy and then I barely lost to him and he sprayed me with a can of Old Spice. I don't know how I'd feel about it.
If you lost, you deserve it, honestly.
That's true.
What if you play a guy named Mace? Then
there's probably
fucked.
someone named Mace, actually. If you ever win a major axe, that's what you got to do now. You got to spray your opponent in the final.
Get up in there and
with axe just all over his
with
face.
Mace.
Yeah, with Mace, exactly. Yeah, the ultimate statement. I won. And I made you cry.
You're legally blind now.
Yeah. Well done. Anyway, more questions.
That's the story of the gamer tag.
That's I did not expect that. This has been a treat, as I said earlier. But moving on, we've got another one from my post has. My post has been on fire, and my post has asks, considering you've been around M2K, for those who are not in the know, that's Mewtwo King, a lot recently. What's your general opinion about him? How he handles playing many Smash games, and do you believe he can make a sufficient comeback soon?
I have no idea how he does it, honestly. Like how he's able to play every Smash game at top level, except arguably 64, but he's probably amazing at 64 too. Yeah. I've never seen him play it.
Do we count that? Do we count those?
I don't know. Of course we count it. It's the Smash game. We have to, Super Smash Flash and whatnot.
Nope.
I'm just kidding. That's not really a kind of, I don't know. Anyway, I think that in order for him to be number one in Melee, he needs to just plain put more time in it. Like he just needs to put more time in it. But the problem is you can't put with him what he's doing. He can't put more time in the Melee when he's already putting so much time in the Smash 4 and Brawl and everything else. So I think that's a problem, and it's like a risk versus reward thing. Like should I actually drop Smash 4 to become the best at Melee, or is it worth being like top 5 in both events? And I think he's aiming to be the best at all of them, but it's so hard to be the best at every Smash game because they're so different. But I do think one thing that he's been talking about is how bad his hands hurt. I'm sure everyone's heard about that. He's been having a lot of hand pains, and I don't know. I heard him say he went to the doctor, but no results. I have no idea what it is. But the fact that Melee is such a difficult game and it's a hard game, like you have to be so quick at it and move your fingers at like 300 EPM or whatever. It can be exhausting, and I've seen him, like the way he holds his controller is that he really strains his hands, and I can tell that it takes a toll on him. So and he has to do it in Melee more than any other game just to be fast. So
I'm curious. Do you have a controller nearby that you could show us how he holds it? Because I actually didn't realize that.
Bam! Always got one ready. All right, so if you see him play, he'll kind of like do this claw and like this kind of thing, and like really like strain his hands. I think that's one thing, but it's not just him. It's a lot of players who do that because to be fast, sometimes you tense up and you to move your fingers quickly from one button to the other. I've been kind of fortunate because my handle on the controller is pretty relaxed, so I've never had like any problems with anything like that. But for the players who, they strain and stuff, and it's hard not to subconsciously do that. If you're going to be playing for like 10 years or whatever it is, it's eventually going to start hurting. And I think that's what he's experiencing. But he doesn't have to move as fast in like Smash 4. It's actually raining pretty hard here. I just saw lightning. Pikachu.
That was
well
you
done.
Planned that. Tell me.
Well done.
Oh my god.
Pikachu has announced presence.
So yeah, that's I think that's a problem that he has with the hands. So I don't know what he needs to do, honestly. I believe in him. He's super talented. I know he can do it.
Now, obviously, this AMA.
Sorry,
is
that's
about
too
you.
loud. By the way, can you guys still hear me with that?
Yeah, we can hear you just fine. Actually, your mic's perfect. If this AMA is obviously about you, but obviously you've played Mewtwo King a lot recently, and we'd love to get whatever insight we can out of you. That's the beauty of an AMA. You've played him several times. What is it about Mewtwo King that makes him so elusive? So difficult to play against, because he seems to play so very different than other players.
I don't know. he has this thing where he's just like, I have to choose the best option in every situation. And he does it better than any other player I've ever seen before. He's very statistical, and he's all about covering every single option and doing the best option at all times. Whereas most other players are about feeling out the opponent, like what's he going to do next, and trying to condition them to do certain things. That's how most players at top level play. But he's the one where he's just like 100% best option at all times. And it works. It's very successful. But, for the players that can crack past that, like, Mango, Lef, and Armada, I think he does need to see what they're doing specifically in order to win. Not only that, but he just plain needs to practice, because I noticed there's some things that he doesn't do. He's actually been doing some new things lately. Like if you watch his recent sets, he learned how to double stick tech, which is when you get hit by a move on the ground, like Falco's back air at like 130%. You can survive that by teching on the floor. It's a pretty awesome technique to do. So he learned that recently. He's learning shield drops, but he just needs to practice like some of the new technology. I think that'll help him. But yeah, I don't know how he does it. Like he's the one statistical player who's the absolute best at it.
Would you say it's accurate to say that he maybe he plays the game and the situation as opposed to playing the player?
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much what he does.
Nice. Well, now that I have him figured out, I can obviously beat him.
Well, it's way easier said than done, because I guarantee there's nobody who's as good at doing it as he is.
I can
do it. Don't worry about it.
He's the best at it.
Yeah, don't worry. I played in middle school. I'm sure I'm just as good. I'm sure I'm great.
Just Kirby side.
Just Kirby that shit up. Yeah. Moving on to our next question, and this gets into a little bit of some stuff that you've dealt with recently. Esports Error 6969.
A great name, by the way.
I believe that was my username when I had an Angel Fire URL.
That was your username?
Dragon Slayer 69XXX.
Oh.
At CompuServe.
I was hoping it was Esports Error.
Old balls jokes aside, Esports Error 6969 asks, what are your thoughts on the whole MVG situation?
Well, by the way, before I answer, I'm definitely gonna on my stream. I'm definitely gonna have a 69% emote. So shout out to that 69.
That's
so awesome. So MVG, it depends what situation you're talking about, but they're pretty much a company that's trying to become successful doing a bunch of Smash tournaments and running their stream. And I was a big part of it for quite a while, maybe about half a year or so, just trying to promote them. But it eventually became too stressful because of the how do I say? Well, Sandstorm was one thing. It was a tournament that the stream was not very successful, and they got a lot of hate for it. And it became a lot of like MVG hate type thing. So I just decided to get away from it all, because it was definitely way too stressful for me, too much that I could handle. I feel a lot better, like stress-wise, and just being able to relax with Tempo Storm. So shout out to Tempo Storm. But I don't know, there's a lot going on that I can't get into too much detail with, because I don't want to start like all the crazy drama and get so much into it. But basically, they just, I don't know, they receive a lot of hate because of the way they handle things and the way they run things and things like that. So I don't know what to get into detail with them.
Boy, Chad is very worried about the question, and the person who asked it, actually, they're up in arms.
Are they?
They're just concerned. They're just saying, yeah, they're just worried. That's all I'm saying. They're just worried.
Are they?
Yeah.
I can't actually look at chat. So.
Yeah, it's okay.
I mean, it's basically just another organization trying to host a lot of tournaments. So they do things a lot differently. So it depends how you how you take it. So I don't know.
Just
I don't
wasn't
know
a
where to go
tenable
with it.
situation for perhaps just wasn't a tenable situation for you as a player.
Yeah, because as you can see in the chat right now, probably there's a whole bunch of like drama and like crazy stuff like that is happening with the company. So it's for me as a player, it's a lot. I feel it's a lot better to just get away from it, just for the name and for my sake of not going insane from all the hate and stuff. So that's one thing.
Obviously, a lot on your plate trying to master your character. Difficult to then deal with a lot of PR issues at the same time. I totally understand. That is to say, I don't totally understand, but I can empathize with your situation.
Ian understands better than you do. Max. That's what he's trying to say.
Apparently, I'm the expert
Yeah,
here.
he knows what he's talking about.
That's how it works. Anyway, moving on into some discussion about the games themselves. Crispness asks, if Melee HD were to be in development, what minor buffs or new moves would you like to see balance Pikachu in regards to the top 8 characters?
Okay, Melee HD. If Nintendo itself, the company, came out with Melee HD with different stuff like improvements, I would be pretty concerned, honestly, because they would probably change things to be more like I don't know, like Smash 4. I'm so comfortable with how things are in Melee. I just don't want anything to change.
It's a warm gaming blanket, right? Yeah, I mean, even when I step into the controller now, it's so familiar. I can't imagine it being any different.
Yeah, but if they could change things in the way that I would want them to change it, what I would like changed about Pikachu is, number one, his dash attack. It's absolutely horrid. His dash attack's the worst. It's a move where if you use it, unless they're at high percent, then you will 100% of the time get punished for it. And it has so much lag and it does such little damage and has barely any knockback. It's a terrible move. And it's unfortunate that it's a move that I do accidentally a lot. The reason's because when I try to do things like dash and short hop neutral air or dash into up smash or something, if I like mess up the jump timing for a short hop or maybe press up too late before pressing A or something like that, I'll do a dash attack. Like accidental dash attacks happen a lot of times, and it's a horrible move to be punished for. I just wish it was useful in some way.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty bad.
How would you in that vein? How would you make it useful?
I've always had the cool idea that this is what I wanted them to do in Project M. That'd be awesome. But if he could like hit confirm his dash attack into something, like kind of cancel it like Falco's dash attack did in Brawl, where you can dash attack into like up smash or something like that, or something similar to what Lucario can do. I thought that would be pretty cool. Either that or just a plain better dash attack, like I don't know, like Peaches or Sheiks or the Spaceys or any like almost any other dash attack would be great. It would be great.
It's that bad that anything would be better.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yep.
Except for like Kirby's. Kirby's dash attack is the worst.
Poor Kirby.
Poor Kirby.
Poor Kirby.
It's cool looking though.
It is. I mean,
it's like a fireball.
A completely useless fireball.
Yeah, pretty much. Besides that, though, I actually really like the character for what he is. I've gotten used to using his strengths to my advantage and made him from low tier to top of mid tier, basically. It would be cool if maybe he had some more stun on his forward air to combo into some things, or maybe like a slight range in front of him with neutral air to approach more like Spaceys or something like that. But I don't know. I like Pikachu how he is, so I like the character, and I do think that I could become the best with him, like the best player potentially. That's what I'm aiming for, and I think he has the tools to do it. So I like him for the character that he is.
Follow-up question to that. I know that we've spoken with several players of Smash who discuss the difference between having an NTSC disc that can't be updated, can't be patched, can't be cracked with Super Smash Bros. Melee, and then having an environment sort of like League of Legends or like any other MOBA where they can actively nerf and buff things in Super Smash Bros. For Wii U. Do you think you like the character because it's always been that character and that you've just sort of had to adjust to it, or is this maybe, if you played Smash 4 more, maybe you'd look at Pikachu and go, maybe there's some other things I'd like fixed?
Well, actually, I think that's it. I think it's just that I've gotten so used to them. That's it's really nice having a set of tools that won't change. Like that's a major part of it, because it sucks when you're playing Smash 4 and you get used to, my character in Smash 4 is Link. You get used to Link and it's awesome, but then they're just like, oh, we patched out, like his jab is now worse, or like, things like that, or just changes, getting used to Diddy Kong, used to like down throw up airs, and then it gets nerfed and things like that. It sucks having things nerfed about your character or things change. I don't know if I would want anything different about Pikachu other than dash attack, because I just like the tools that he has. I'm so used to it, and I like having the same set of tools, knowing that it's not going to change and I don't have to worry about that.
It's funny you bring that up, because I think one thing that people focus on a lot when they play a game that gets patched is things get better, and nobody seems to focus on the fact that, well, actually maybe if you browse Reddit threads and developer forums, maybe people are more focused on the fact that things get worse. But I mean, that's the reality of it, right? I mean, I know sometimes when I play Dota, I'll go, oh God, I love this support, and then a new patch comes out, and I'm like, why do I suddenly suck?
That's the one problem I've had about Project M, if you've read much about that. Is that it's amazing. Like, I love what they're doing with the game, that they're trying to make something with the developers of Project M, that they're trying to make something that's kind of like Melee, but like basically more characters, more stages, more possibilities, things like that. The only thing I don't like is that there's so many changes, like so many nerfs and buffs and like crazy stuff that changes all the time. I can't handle it.
I hear if you say PM 3 times fast, Nintendo shuts down the stream. That's what I've heard. So please be careful, Axe, when you're talking about that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's a little side event.
It most certainly is. Well, moving on to our next question. We've only got time for probably a couple more. And people are hitting you hard. People are awfully critical about the Pikachu choice. Kingley98 asks, what do you think it would take for you to drop Pikachu for another character? Better results, more confidence in another character.
What the hell, Kingley? Come on.
People seem to either love the fact that you play Pikachu or really hate the fact that you play Pikachu.
Well, I mean, for the most part, I've heard positive things, that it's cool, like playing a different character. But I've also heard other people say, "Why on earth are you playing Pikachu?
Exactly.
Like, you should be playing Falco, or something different, because they have so much more stuff."
Why are you doing this to yourself?
Or people just don't like Pikachu. Period.
Yeah.
Say it again. Right.
I said, what? It's like they're asking, why are you doing this to yourself? Why would you harm yourself like this?
Pretty much. Well, the reason why is because I don't really have a choice, because it's my best character. That's I'm just doing the best that I can do to win. And if it were to happen that my Falco is better, or that my Marth is better, any other character is better, I would probably use them more and just win with them. The reason why I'm using Pikachu so much is because, number one, I don't spend much time in him as it is, and I'm already getting better results than any other character that I spend more time in. So why don't I just stop playing the other characters and put the time into Pikachu to actually win? I think I have a much better chance of winning using Pikachu, despite what everybody else thinks. But I think people don't know that I've actually tried really hard to be really top with Falco. That's the main character I've tried really hard with. But I've also played a lot of Marth, Fox, Ice Climbers, a bunch of characters. But they just don't give me the same results. Like, it feels much easier with Pikachu, if you will. So that's why I'm playing Pikachu. And if it wasn't that way, like if it happened to where my Falco was my best character, like in the situation reversed, if Falco was my best character, even if I didn't spend much time into him and I spent all this time into Pikachu, I would just use Falco in tournament, because it would give me much better results. But it's not that way. Pikachu's my best, and I don't have a choice, but I'm actually really happy with it, because I like Pikachu, and it's really awesome having a lower mid-tier representative. I just like the character, and I feel very fortunate that it happened to be Pikachu that's my best. So I think it's pretty awesome.
I don't think there's any question that, in addition to being an obviously extremely likable and friendly person, everybody loves an underdog, and there's
Thank you.
Everybody wants to root for not the anti-hero. That's not correct, but the disruptive character. I mean, if Pikachu took down Spaceys in a major, I think the walls would come tumbling down. I, for one,
people like
seeing
new things, and I agree. I like seeing new things, so I think it's awesome.
Especially in a game as old and established as Melee. I think that's got to be part of the draw of your fans, is the fact that you are very actively and very successfully challenging the preconceived pantheon of the game. I don't know if there was a question.
I'm trying my best.
I think I
just a big compliment, really.
I just wanted to compliment.
The anti-hero Pikachu murdering other Pokemon
just
and
a bunch
route
of bros
to
hanging out,
Smash,
each other compliments. That's right.
Fox is a Pokemon.
We'll try to squeeze in as many as we can between now and the end of our hour. Coming up next from Flat Zoner. What's it like being sponsored by Tempo Storm? I don't know anything about the ins and outs of professional sponsorships. How exactly does that work?
Number one, shout out to Flat Zone, because that's one of my favorite stages. Shout out to Flat Zoner. What's up, man? Mm-hmm. Second, being with Tempo Storm, it's I haven't been with them with that long yet, so I haven't experienced much. But I can say that it's really awesome. They've been really supportive of me, especially like with the moral support and financially. They help me get on my feet so that I can just focus on Melee and not have to worry about other things, because money is always a concern, no matter what you do. Sure. It kind of sucks, but that's the reality of things.
It's where we live in.
But they help me a lot, and they don't ask for too much of me. Like I feel very less stressed than I did previously. So shout out to Tempo Storm. They've been super supportive, and let me talk about being sponsored, period, regardless of what organization you're with. It's awesome. It's something that I thought would never, ever happen in my life, because I just, I played Melee just for fun. Like, I thought it was fun. And I found out about tournaments. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's tournaments for this. Like, I have to compete because I think it's cool. And I wanted to go to tournaments. And even if I would go and get my butt kicked at any tournament, I'm willing to spend no matter how much money it is, unless it's like $1,000, to enter tournaments and just see how well I can do. Like, I don't mind just seeing what I can do. And eventually I just got better and better because I love the game. And being a sponsored player, then like flying me out to events and the whole esports thing, it's a dream come true. Something I thought never in a million years, and it was never my goal to become like this. It just kind of happened, and I feel very fortunate, and I'm very happy for Tempo Storm. Like, I'm thankful. So thank you, Tempo Storm, if you're watching. Like, it's been fantastic.
Well, let's get one thing clear. It obviously didn't just happen. You obviously worked very hard for it. You deserve the credit there.
Yeah. So thank you.
Personal question: is Reynad as salty as people think he is?
He's the saltiest dude I've ever met in my life.
That's exactly what people want to hear. That's exactly.
I'm just kidding, by the way. I've only met him one time in person, although I've talked to him a lot of occasions. But I've actually. He seems like a cool, down-to-earth guy to me. He's been a great manager. He's awesome. He's awesome if you ask me. I've seen his stream a couple times, and since then, because I've actually never watched Hearthstone until I found out about Tempo Storm, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. He's a cool guy. He's funny. He's hilarious. I love the guy. He's cool. So yeah, Reynad's a good guy. Yeah, shout out to Reynad.
I think I bumped into him real briefly at EVO. I didn't get a chance to talk to him, but obviously, Reynad, if you're watching the show, we would love to have you on.
Oh, yeah.
We'll try to squeeze in. I think we got time for probably one more question before we have to, so sadly, part ways. Yearbook throwaway one asks, hey, Axe, what's your favorite memory that involves Smash? This is a great one to end on. What is your favorite memory that involves Smash?
Oh, man. Okay. There's actually a lot that comes to mind, but I'll just say the first one that comes to mind. It was actually EVO 2013, the first time that Melee was introduced to EVO. I lost. I lost to what was it, Mango? I had a close set with him, and then I lost to Shroomed after that, in 13th place. But what it was it was just really cool seeing Melee come into the whole esports thing, because that's where it all kicked off, that in the Smash documentary. And it was pretty amazing seeing how big it was becoming. And I saw such a big future for it. And now it is what it is. That and watching Wobbles, because Wobbles, the famous Ice Climbers player, he was the best in Arizona. I was right next to him. And I always wondered, like, like why on earth am I losing to this Ice Climbers? Like I don't understand why I'm losing to this character. But then he ended up getting second place, and I was like, oh, that's why I'm losing to him. He's actually just really good. But it was just a feeling that right after the tournament, we all went out to celebrate, and it was in Vegas, and we saw like the Vegas show and stuff, and just playing Melee with a whole bunch of friends. And I think at that moment at Evo and afterwards, and just hanging out with everyone and just playing Smash, I realized just how much I love the Melee community, like how far it's come, and it's really become a big emotional part of my life, a huge part of my life, and I'm just thankful for it. So that's one big memory I have, because I think that's when I found out just how much love I have for the game and what it's done for me. It's changed my life. So yeah. I'm just happy.
And I remember Efren Salinas and I were reporting from the floor at Evo, and it's really something that has to be sort of seen to be believed, isn't? I mean, I remember swimming through people sitting on the floor trying to watch Melee matches. I remember watching the crowd that was crowding out the Splatoon and indie games booths, just trying to get a glimpse of you cracking into the top 8. You know, that moment when Hungrybox, kissed his wife, fiance or wife. I'm actually not sure. I'll have to ask him about
partner.
His
lover.
Partner,
his lady.
Maybe a little too far.
His lady.
You made it his gal.
Yeah.
After the big win over Leffen, it's just you really have to experience, even at Big House 4, you really have to experience it to realize just what this community means to people. And you know what? It means so much to people that we're not going to stop right now. If you got time for a couple more questions, Axe?
Yeah, of course. I'll stick by if people have questions.
That's awesome. We do have.
Speaking of a couple more questions,
let's hear 'em.
A shout out to the chat for being such a nice chat. By the way, if you're watching this recorded, you should be joining us live.
Agreed.
We have a wonderful chat experience here with the one and only Axe. We do have a question from the chat, actually, from Osley9001. Shout out to you, Osley, for waiting so long to have your question answered. Axe, what do you think of the survivability of Melee? Do you think it'll be around in 10 years? And what's it going to look like then, if it is around in 10 years? It's the Melee question, really.
Yeah, it's unpredictable. I mean, I thought this game was going to be dead once Brawl came out, which was in, 2008?
Forever ago? Yeah.
Forever ago. And I was like, Melee was dying down. I'm like, oh, this is the end. Like, there's, like, that sucks. I'm always going to play Melee because I love the game with my friends here in Arizona. But I didn't see much of a I didn't think anything more would happen for it. But bam, like, look at how far Melee's come. It's absolutely ridiculous how far it's come. And it's pretty unpredictable how far it's going to go. It's it came out in 2001. How long has it been? Like 15 years almost?
I believe it's 16 years old now. Yeah.
It can drive.
It can.
Melee can drive.
So if you ask me, for me, I think it's pretty much guaranteed to have at least 5 more years. It could have 10, 15 more years. Like, it's unpredictable, so I can't even give an answer of what it'll be. But I can guarantee that I'm pretty much always going to be playing this game until my hands fall apart. I just love the game, and it's done so much for me, like meeting all the people, and it's a game that I never get tired of. So I'm always going to play it, and I do think that it has a long, healthy future. Hopefully, we are looking at a good 69 more years or something like that.
That would actually, I think the math was a little off there. That'd be 14 years, I believe.
Is it?
Yeah, I think it is.
2015. It was released in 2001. That'd be 14 years.
There's a reason.
Just throw it out there.
I'm not working as an engineer.
From the math part of the desk that we have over here, it would not quite be 16. You almost had me there. You almost had me, Ian.
Almost.
You almost had me.
I'll get you one of these.
One of these days.
Well, we can keep on going down the. We got a couple more questions that we picked out from the Reddit AMA. Poison comes at us. Let's see if I can get that up on screen. There we go.
The Reddit AMA Poison asking more questions. How rude!
I didn't mean that.
The user Poison from the Reddit AMA.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay,
there's the clarity we needed.
Yes.
If you were to play any game competitively that wasn't a Smash game, I like this one. What would it be?
I don't know. I've never I don't know. I never even got any other competitive games besides I did Pokemon competitive for a little bit. I dabbled in it. I know about the all the mechanics, how the game works.
That game.
So I tried that, but
if you don't mind me saying, that game is so complicated now.
It is.
What is going on there?
I know there's so much stuff. They just added fairy type. And I'm just like, I'm done. I can't. I can't do this anymore.
Fairy type was the final straw. You lost Axe's vote.
It's so hard. I mean, I do like playing it. So I play Pokemon. It's fun. But I don't know. It would probably be another fighting game because I love fighting games. I actually did martial arts for about 10 years under my dad. He's a martial arts instructor. And just something about watching martial arts tournament, but in a digital world where you fight another character. I don't know. It's like my two things that I'm really into combined, and I think it's awesome. So I might get into like Street Fighter has always interested me. So that could be one. Marvel looks pretty crazy. I don't know, but it would probably be another fighting game if that.
I know somebody sitting in the studio right now that would be extremely excited to hear you say that Street Fighter interests you.
Funny thing is, I'm horrible at Street Fighter, but
aren't we all?
But if I had to choose another game, I'd probably practice maybe Street Fighter. That's the first thing that comes to mind. If I could do competitive, like, I don't know, Geometry Dash, that'd be awesome. Shout outs to anybody who plays Geometry Dash. It's so fun.
That game is so
I'll stream
impossible.
it sometimes.
That would be awesome. No, and there's a new one coming out. There's really no time like the present. You could be the first person to win an Evo title and two titles simultaneously.
And Melee and Geometry Dash. That'd be fantastic.
Competitive.
I think
show.
Number Crunchers is the next
I meant
logical
Street
step.
Fighter Axe. Come
I'm
on.
just kidding. Street Fighter and Geometry Dash. That's what
We'll go ahead and round off the show with one more, and then the well has officially run dry. We've got Meow Mix the Mighty, maybe my favorite name of the night, actually.
Meow Mix?
Meow Mix the Mighty. Yes.
That's perfect.
Isn't it? Yeah. He or she asks, "Hey Axe, what are your top 5 favorite characters other than your mains? Pikachu, Falco, Young Link." So since you play 3, we're really going deep in the tier list. But let's hear your favorite 5
Top
outside of
8 characters
your
in the
top
game,
8
basically.
characters.
Yeah.
All right. My top 8 characters. I'll say the ones that I've been playing the most and I love playing. Obviously Pikachu. I mean, come on.
Of course.
I love Falco to death. He has so much stuff that he can do, and he's so swag.
So
he holds
swag.
his laser, like he holds his gun sideways when he shoots lasers. Like he's awesome.
That's some training day shit. Yeah.
It's cool. I love Young Link because he has so many tricks and cool stuff that he can do. He's so parkour. Like I love the character. He has so much stuff that people don't even know about really. Like he has so much potential. I've been playing a lot of Marth lately. Marth is one of my favorite characters as of late. I think that he can just style on characters, like the stuff that he can do. It's just really fun. And it's fun having range for once because Pikachu doesn't have much range and Marth has so much. It's a big change and it's fun. I love ice climbers. Not because of wobbling. I don't like wobbling. Although, I don't mind it being in tournaments. I think it's fine in tournaments, but I just don't like actually performing wobbling because it just takes so long and I don't like doing only that. I like doing cool stuff. So like all the cool handoffs and like team combos, like you can do team combos with one character. Like it's really awesome. I think that's the coolest thing ever.
Agreed.
How many was that? Was that like 5?
It was 5, yeah. So you got 3 more.
Let's see here. I think
deep.
Captain Falcon is awesome. I've been playing a lot of Mario. I think Mario's a really cool character that's very underdeveloped as well. And also shout outs to Yoshi. Many of you probably when I say Yoshi will immediately think of Amsa. But I'm talking about the guy who taught Amsa basically Vector Man. Shout outs to Vector Man. He plays on my stream a lot, but he was the best Yoshi before Amsa came around. But Vector Man basically taught him a lot of Yoshi knowledge, and Amsa's like amazing now, best Yoshi on Earth. But Vector Man's getting it back. But I just love Yoshi as a character. I think it's cool. He has some crazy mechanics. He's so fast. The double jump cancels and like the parries and so much stuff he has that no other character has, and he's so technical. I love Yoshi. I think he's really cool. Was that 8? Was that 7?
I believe we hit 8. I think you covered the bases.
That's 8 character. Let me do a runner up.
Yeah.
And who would be the runner up? There's so many characters.
There's a
I'm
lot.
gonna say Roy because Roy has the fire, and that's my list.
A good choice. A good list.
Yeah.
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 To finish the show with Roy, that's a good way to finish, I think.
Roy's our boy.
Yeah.
Roy
Roy
is
the boy.
in fact our boy. Well, that, ladies and gentlemen, is it for us here at the premiere episode of the Our Smash Brothers AMA presented to you by the Daily Dot. Axe, is there anything else you wanna say to the audience before we sign off for the night?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's watching. Like, shout out to all the fans out there. All you guys have been awesome. Thanks for supporting me whenever I'm on stage and just on streaming in general. I also stream a lot myself at twitch.tv/AZ_Axe. And also shout outs to Tempo Storm because they've been super awesome with me. Thank you so much, Tempo Storm, for everything you've done for me. And shout outs to Arizona as a whole because without the state of AZ, like, we wouldn't have a 50 states. No, but
that is technically true.
Like, the whole Melee scene here in AZ is just awesome. They've always supported me. So shout outs to AZ. I love you guys.
And shout outs to you, Axe, thank you so much for joining us. I think we had a blast on the show tonight. And
I know we did.
I do too.
Yeah.
I didn't want to speak for our chat.
Okay.
You know, they're an equal partner in this. But once again, thank you so much, Axe, for dropping by the show. We'll, of course, be back next week with another guest, another fresh batch of questions. If you enjoyed the show, like us on Facebook for more content like this. Check us out on Twitter. We're also very active there. Subscribe on YouTube. The VOD for this interview will, of course, be posted there. And follow the channel. I believe the button is, Jared, which way is it? It's down there?
It's down here.
Follow button's right down there. It's literally just a mouse click away.
Twitch.tv/daily.
Twitch.tv.
And the YouTube, daily.esports.
That's great. I didn't even give the addresses. See, Jared's far more seasoned in this. But that does it for us tonight. And thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed our time spent with Axe, and we will see you next week.